After being mocked so much in Europe, finally PSG wins the very first Champions League title of its history and starts its Club World Cup campaign by demolishing Atletico Madrid. Luis Enrique's formula is definitely working, and there is a great lesson to learn from this team's recent success. Hello everyone, welcome back to Free Kick. I hope you are doing well. To all the football lovers, make yourself at home because you are at the right place. 2025 has definitely been a special year for football. Newcastle won the Carabao Cup, Crystal Palace took the FA Cup, Tottenham won the Europa League, and last but not least, PSG finally became champions of Europe with undoubtedly the best performance in the history of the Champions League finals. On top of that, Enrique's team opened their Club World Cup campaign by realizing an amazing performance once again versus Atletico Madrid that they demolished with a score of 4-0. This is a football lesson, and even more than that, it is a life lesson. This PSG side shows that in modern football, the collective spirit in a team will always outplay and outshine individual brilliance. It will always be better to have 11 players attacking together, defending together, and fighting for one another instead of 10 players doing the dirty work, for instance, while the remaining player shines alone. Those PSG players are not flashy footballers, they are not superstars, but they love their badge and it shows because they honor it on the pitch. They fight together, every single one of them gives his all, and they conquer together. Look at how Kvaratskhelia ran after Dumfries to recover this ball, and he did it again consistently against Atletico Madrid. Mbappe would have simply let him pass without doing nothing to stop him. Today's football rewards the teams that are great collectively, not the teams inside which only individuality thrives. At the end of the day, football is a team sport and it is played with 11 players, not 10 plus 1 or 9 plus 2, but 11. The biggest mistake that has been made in the last few years in the football industry has been to start giving more credit to individuality than the collective work in a team. A team inside which efficient individualities blend perfectly together while having a strong chemistry can win everything, but a team entirely built around the concept of individuality being greater than the collective aspect is bound to fail. Now Real Madrid's major problem is clearly identified. The key for Xabi Alonso to succeed as a coach at Real Madrid will be to make every single player in the team run and press, especially the attackers. And it looks like that's what's going to happen from now on, since Alonso reportedly indicated that every player in the team, especially the attackers, will have to run and press, regardless of his name or position. Whether we like it or not, modern football requires more from attackers than simply scoring goals. If Alonso fails to make the attackers run and press, the team will have a serious problem going far in competitions like the Champions League and will probably have to say goodbye to winning major trophies. You can make Vini and Rodrigo run, they have done it before and they will perfectly manage. Brahim and Bellingham will also have no problem running, but I fear Xabi Alonso might have serious problems making Mbappe run.
I don't even want to blame Kylian. Kylian is Kylian. He never defended in his whole life, not when he was 5 years old, not when he was 12, not when he was 17, and even less now that he's 25 years old. So,
in the case where Xabi Alonso fails to make Mbappe run, the team dynamic at Real Madrid might end up becoming a 10+1 situation, with Mbappe focused solely on receiving the balls and scoring goals, while the rest of the team does all the dirty work, just as it was the case at PSG for so long. Apparently, the players that will not run under Xabi Alonso will also not play, but it is easier said than done. You can bring the horse to the river, but you cannot force it to drink. Many coaches at PSG had tried to make Mbappe run and press, and they all failed. The same Luis Enrique had to take Mbappe aside during PSG's 2024 UCL campaign to make him understand the importance for him to run and do more for the team as a leader.
He leído que te gustaba Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan cogía de los huevos a todos sus compañeros y se ponía a defender como un hijo de puta. Tú tienes que dar ese ejemplo primero como persona y como jugador de ir a presionar y te vas a pegar todo el partido presionando a Kovacic que no avance y presionando a Ter Stegen para que juegue rápido y volviendo rápido. ¿Para qué? Para ser un líder. Porque tú piensas como que tú nos tienes que marcar los goles. Claro, tú eres un fenómeno, un top mundial, ninguna duda. Pero yo no me vale eso. Un líder de verdad es que cuando no nos puedes ayudar con los goles, tú nos ayudas en todo lo defensivo. Coges así y dices, chavales, línea defensiva, quedaros ahí 4, que yo voy a coger a mis 2 compañeros, porque si tú solo presionas, es la hostia. Pero si encima coges a Usman y a Colomwani o a Barcola o a Gonzalo o a Marco Asensio y te pones tú como ejemplo a presionar, ¿sabes lo que tenemos? Una puta máquina de equipo. Eso es lo que yo quiero que hagas tú como líder aquí. Atacando ya sé que eres Dios. Atacando no hay nadie como tú. Ya lo sé. Pero el día que tú no ataques, tienes que ser el mejor jugador de la historia defendiendo. Eso es un líder. Eso es Michael Jordan.
To be very honest, a rain of goals cannot compensate for a lack of effort and a poor work rate of the ball. After Mbappe left PSG, Luis Enrique proceeded to mold Ousmane Dembélé into the dynamic team leader he was talking about. One that leads by example, that is the first to get his hands dirty for the team, and that always lets the team comes before himself and his personal interests.
The recipes of this success this season is mostly and purely based on a team where everybody attacks and everybody defends and everybody plays together and for each other, which with Kylian in the team would have been 10-1, 1-10, inevitably, because this is what we see everywhere with the national team, with Real Madrid, with PSG before, at Monaco before, at Bondy before, at the Clairefontaine Academy before, all the time.
That is what we need Mbappe to do as of now. He has to start making all the necessary efforts without skipping none, just like the rest of his teammates. Besides, have you thought about what the team dynamic could look like at Real Madrid if all the players listened to the coach and started to run and press, while Mbappe didn't? His teammates might end up being fed up with him for not playing along and spoiling their efforts at some point. This would inevitably lead to a negative atmosphere inside the Real Madrid dressing room. PSG winning this Champions League without Mbappe, while Real Madrid ends up trophyless for its first season with Mbappe, cannot be a coincidence. The common denominator here is Mbappe, and now the Frenchman will be under even more pressure for the upcoming season. He officially became the main man at Real Madrid, and on top of that, a new coach has arrived with a clear and interesting plan. The defense has also been reinforced. With all these elements, it will be extremely hard not to blame Mbappe if Real Madrid fails to deliver next season. From Vini to Bellingham, and from Rodrigo to Valverde, every Real Madrid player present at the club before Mbappe came won the Champions League without him. They already cracked the code. Real Madrid has to be great next season, because if the club continues to struggle, it will only be a confirmation that the common denominator to failure at PSG and then at Real Madrid is Mbappe and no one else. All because of his poor work rate of the ball that unfortunately contributes highly in significantly unbalancing the teams he plays for. If anyone had told us 5 years ago that PSG would eventually win the Champions League and even complete the treble all in one season, and that before Real Madrid, we would have never believed it. Luis Enrique's tactics is simply magic, and it turned out to be eye-opening. That was all for today. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you very much for watching, and I see you next time.